On target.
So I'm your host, Kelvin Daly, and I thank you for joining us once again.
Join the conversation.
I looked at it on Facebook and I read the speech and I'm trying to find out what is the commitment to renal failure in Nevis, and I'm yet to find it.
Be a part of the debate.
What he needs to do is to allow the people to do their work in accordance with the relevant legislation, and he must not overreach, because when he makes those suggestions, he is in a sense misleading the population here.
Speak your mind. Defend your country. Call in. Numbers to call: 869-669-7312. That's 869-669-7312 or 917-460-2187. That's 917-460-2187. On target here on 2020 Vision Radio every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. On target. Be a part of it. On target.
So I'm your host, Kelvin Daly, and I thank you for joining us once again.
Join the conversation.
I looked at it on Facebook and I read the speech and I'm trying to find out what is the commitment to renal failure in Nevis, and I'm yet to find it.
Be a part of the debate.
What he needs to do is to allow the people to do their work in accordance with the relevant legislation, and he must not overreach, because when he makes those suggestions, he is in a sense misleading the population here.
Speak your mind. Defend your country. Call in. Numbers to call: 869-669-7312. That's 869-669-7312 or 917-460-2187. That's 917-460-2187. On target here on 2020 Vision Radio every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. On target. Be a part of it.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are strictly those of the participants and do not represent those of 2020visionradio.com or its advertisers.
Let us put our hands together for Poopa Wheeler!
Suicide bomber, bring it up to shout for me. I want them to roar, roar, boy, roar for me. Anything you want, you go get, boy. I'm mixing up the soca with some Hindi and some rumba, chutney and labadira. ID no necessary, boy. Whisker lips a mercenary. Bring it up to shout for me. I want it to roar, roba me. Maintain your impulso. Todo zombie and beater. Take it away. Local fans decreasing. Boy, I did numbers they keep dropping. Nobody don't shout no more like they used to shout before. Boy, these grunting fans they crumbling about promise songs. Fail on delivering. Boy, start song and can't finish it. It's standard English, singing stupidness, nonsense. Why don't you sing a song and help again? Tell me what happened to me fair share when the money disappear. Ooh yeah, boy. Stuart, if it question here, bringing them to shout for me. I wanted to roll, roll for me. Complex. Yes, if they don't call me king, boy, I do me like the doctor, placing their campus suicide bomber, bringing them to shout for me. I wanted to roll for me. I'm gonna be mashing up the complex. Yes, if they don't call me king, doctor, placing your campus suicide bomber. Boy, bringing them to shout for me. I wanted to roar for me. Anything you want, you go get. Boy, I'm mixing up the soca with some Hindi and some rumba, chutney and lavandera. I didn't know necessary. Boy, we got lips of mercenary. Bringing them to shout for me. I wanted to roar for me. Maintain your impulso. Todo zombie and Peter. Boy, take it away. Airlines. See preacher, see taxi. Bringing them to shout for me. I want them to roar for me. You don't know. You got to spend big money if you wanna win monarchy. I go got the diaspora. 420 in my corner, boy. Share the life, boy. Press like, subscribe, sharing. All here the diaspora's king. Your king go be knocking down your airport, knocking down hospital walls. Training geothermal. Let the Jewish people sing the song. These Hebrew boys don't understand. Betty, that is out for me. I want to roar for me. I'm rocking down the complex. Yes, if they don't throw me king, do it like the doctor, president, campus, suicide bomber. Bringing them to shout for me. I wanted to roar for me. Anything you want, you go get. Yes, I'm mixing up the soca some Hindi and some rumba, chutney and la bandera. ID no necessary. Please calypso mercenary. Boy, bring it to the show for me. I want it raw for me. Vente del impulso. Todo son bienvenida. Kick the momentum. Everybody is welcome. Thank you.
Papa Wheeler.
Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of On Target. And as your host on a Saturday afternoon, I welcome each and every one of you. If you're on the FM dial, YouTube, Twitch, or on the Facebook feed, special good afternoon to all of those in the diaspora, those here on St. Kitts and Nevis, and of course, if you see the 2 seats empty on the right, on the left, it means my 2 co-hosts are not yet in studio with me, but normally they should be on their way. The weather is kind of threatening, so I'm not certain whether that had any cause to delay them. We had a bit of thunder rolling earlier. We expect a storm, not really a storm, more like a disturbance, moving well to the north of us, and it should not be causing any difficulties whatsoever. Maybe a scattered shower or 2, but there is no organization of that depression or that weather disturbance, so we expect nothing major to occur. So we have dodged so far any bullets flown across from the African coast towards in our direction. Let me say good afternoon to those who made podium and all the others. First up for the God knows how many times now, LCQ, Loretta Clark Creeley up there in Florida, followed very, very closely by Arlene Jeffers Stanford and Michelle Liebert up there in Canada. And up there in Oklahoma, the Kitchen King is with us. And running out number 5 over there in Bath Village, the queen herself, Iona Muchacha Dor. She gave me a sweet hug yesterday. Man, I felt good. You know, beautiful girl. Yeah, why? I'm telling you. And right behind her daughter Adele McClendon. How are you, my dear? Drexel Barton is with us, and so is Catherine France. You know, Catherine's such a lovely lady. And Charlene Jeffers. Charlene, I did not see you yesterday. I don't know why I did not see you, but I did not. And if you were there, you should have made your presence known. You know, I like to see my people. So I didn't see you. I felt kind of bad. Ruth Lynn Hill up there in Florida. Good afternoon to you. And Iva up there in Atlanta, in Georgia. Good afternoon to you. Ermin Farrell. She is fired up and ready to go, so we can't be too delayed today. And who else we got? We have Patty Fleming. The best dressed man on Nevis, always present. He was yesterday in the Mix and Mingle there in the heart of Charlestown. Good afternoon to your party. Olivia David is with us, and so is Paul Pemberton and Cecile Hobson and the lady herself, Ingrid Daniel Farrell up there in Virginia. Good afternoon to you. And Muriel Brown and Judy Cornelius Webb. I don't remember seeing Judy yesterday. I'm not certain whether my eyes deceived me. You remember seeing Judy yesterday? I didn't see Judy yesterday. Okay. Hildred David, definitely I saw yesterday. She had a conversation with me. Burl Jones, good afternoon to you, my brother. And Jessica Neety Lewis is listening and tuned in. Norma Jean down there in St. Martin. Rhonda Brown is also from St. Martin. Oh, St. Martin, Miami, Florida, something up there. Tonya Powell down in the great state of Texas, where everything is huge. I went to Texas once. I wouldn't want to go back there. You felt so minuscule, like you're not part of this universe.
Tonya love it.
It's huge.
Tonya love it.
Everything. Oh God. Chef Jefferson Lewis, how are you, my daughter? I was just my daughter, but
Leave it.
that would be sort of incestuous.
Leave it.
Dillis Brown, Nicholas Brown down there in St. Thomas. Good afternoon to you. Doll, my number one fan down St. Kitts, she's with us. Linda Dyer is with us. So is Sharon Stapleton up there in Boston. And Bernadette Tyson, Simaletta Jeffers, I didn't see her yesterday either. And Earl Maskell, Hugh Coolman, David Florence Byron, and Ermine Queely. Earl Paris, my good brother Soul Ken, is in Atlanta. He's with us. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, Shirley said she wasn't feeling that well. See, if you had come and I gave you a hug, you'd feel much better. And who else we have? We have, they said Earl Maskell. Yes, I think I did. And who else we have? I think that's about it for now. Welcome, gentlemen. I see my good colleagues are back in studio with me, so we're gonna have a wonderful show in a minute. But today, before we get too long in the tooth, today we want to send birthday greetings to the husband of our dear Dillis Nicholas Brown. He's celebrating today. I'm even surprised to see Dillis on the program.
She's a night person. Yeah. She's a night person.
She's a night person. Hey, Dillis, it could be night, day. I don't think it matters to she. Anyway, I wish you your great hubby who has tolerated you all these years with all of your political shenanigans and everything else. We want to wish him all the best, and I thank him dearly for tolerating you all these wonderful years that we have had together. All right, so Ray, we're going to sing for you, just for you, because nobody else has said today is their birthday, and so we're going to sing for Ray, a special person. All right, there we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. And from us in the studio, Ray, may you live to be 101 and us 101 minus a day, so we don't have to see you go. May God continue to bless you, my brother, with good health, strength, and of course, wealth. All right. Gentlemen, we had, before I get into any further, let me remind persons that on Tuesday, which is Heroes Day, National Heroes Day, we in the NRP St. Paul's branch will be having our Heroes Day breakfast. We are going to change locations just for that day. We are going to be by the roundabout by Papa's Grill. He has kindly and graciously allowed us to use that space. And so we'll be there from 6:30 serving until breakfast ends, maybe around 9:30. The food generally goes very fast, and so if you have a desire not to cook breakfast on that Tuesday morning for Heroes Day, visit us down there by Papa's Grill and treat yourself to a wonderful, scrumptious breakfast and support the work of the NRP as we endeavor to make sure things go right in this country. All right? And we also will have the drawing of the raffle later in that day. So some lucky person will win either 5,000, 3,000, or 2,000. So the drawing will be held sometime in the afternoon, I suppose around 4. But tickets are still available if you feel lucky and you want to try it and see if you can pick up a few $1,000. It's only $50. Tickets are still available. All right. If you don't, even if you don't win, your $50 will go into a good and worthy cause. All right. The rally report. We had a wonderful rally yesterday. My heart was full and overjoyed to see so many persons turning out And it tells me that we have turned the corner on being fearful of what the consequences are for expressing our human rights to assemble and to give voice to our opinions. And so I do thank all those who came out in their numbers yesterday. I saw faces I have not seen in a long time. I missed some faces that I believe should have been there, but I do thank you anyway, because we are told that we had over 8,000 views on the feed, and so it tells us that we have indeed turned the corner on this matter. And if you want to see the pictures, you can go to the NRP Facebook page. You see some lovely pictures. Those who were streaming live, you'd have heard the speeches. I think the speeches were on target. What is it, Tulu? How you like the speeches?
Well, NRP only produce things that are good, and so I was very impressed with all the speeches that were given. I watched you in your element, warmed and fired up, and said, that's the Dr. Daly that I love, and that's the Dr. Daly that some people hate. But the information that you gave, I mean, if anybody listened to you, all these speeches, but in particular to you, they have not changed their mind towards what the Premier and his wife and Drew and others want to do with us here in Nevis, then something is fundamentally wrong with those individuals.
Okay. Danny was there, and LCQ in her forwardness, gonna say Danny could dance better than me. Which part?
No.
I did not see the dancing competition.
She tell me I can't walk up. You hear such nonsense? I was offended, deeply offended.
No, that is too distracting, man. Stay focused.
You're offended because Hensley is better than you, or?
I'm offended to say he can walk up better than me.
No, I wasn't doing that.
No, I didn't see Hensley behaving anyway.
I went to the rally. No, I thought, Kel, in the context of the rally, that given the fact that this whole business of mobilization and marching and protesting and so on is not ingrained in the Nivision experience, I thought yesterday was, as you say, a turning point, can be seen as a turning point where people say, look, this issue of drowning us, swamping us with 10,000 people in an enclave where we can't go, this is beyond the pale. And so I think the people who came, I saw people there from every parish in Nevis, and of course people who are non-political. But I think what people are seeking to say that, hey, this is going too far. And in relation to the people viewing, that's remarkable.
Well, so Tanya just reminded me is now over 9,000, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
A lot of persons, of course, in the diaspora who could not make it, a lot of persons who are still sensitive about being victimized were careful not to show their faces, but they looked at they had vision of the broadcast. And, listen, we are the voice of people who are, voiceless and who wants to remain in the shadows. So we had enough there. I especially want to...
And it's a Friday afternoon.
It's a Friday afternoon.
When people are shopping, end of week, people might be hurrying to get home to look after the children.
Yeah.
So all in all,
I had full faith that people are going to turn up, because this is such an important issue for us all. And so people wanted to express. We saw there was a sprinkling of expatriates in the crowd. There were persons from St. Kitts. I saw DJ Marisha was there with his crew doing some filming, and a few other persons from St. Kitts who came over. And
just to say, Kel, and the expats. The expats have been living here with us over the last 50, 60 years, as we know them. Of course, they might be there earlier. But they have essentially integrated into the community. You see them at the supermarkets. You see them everywhere. And to their credit, they don't want to see a community where where the rest of the society cannot.
I think that's very important. Listen, I've had so many requests for Facebook friends from the expat community. I can't even keep up. I just said I can't even back check anymore. I just say like or accept. It does just keep rolling in, and so they have a keen interest in what's happening here on Nevis. This is their home, just like us. They have integrated, and we are grateful for that integration. All right. Let me say special thank you to Ras Iroy, who I thought gave a brilliant presentation. The historical context of which he spoke, it was just off the chart, and followed right after him was his daughter, J.D. Keynes,
she was on fire.
Who lit up the whole place.
She was on fire.
Fantastic presentations all around. Dr. Hodge was on target. Carl led with his historical perspective leading up to our independence was fantastic.
Carleen,
his personal experience. So the ticket lineup and Rohan, of course, was his way of like almost like Martin Luther King kind of vibes.
Talking about the family.
Yeah. So we had a wonderful time yesterday. If my voice sounds a little hoarse, because believe me,
it's stretched.
It is stretched. It was stretched. It was stretched yesterday.
Too little stress for the mood.
I swear I drank 500 milliliters of water yesterday, 1.5 liters of water, with no result going out the other way. That is how dehydrated I was after my presentation. And I enjoyed it, because when you bring in truth to the people, when you bring in a way forward for the people, it always gives you pleasure. And you don't have to lie. You don't have to remember what you said, because you can repeat it anytime you want. You don't have to recall whether you told this lie or that lie. It's the same speech every single time. No deviation, no deception. It is what it is. All right?
On the 26th in St. Kitts, there will be also a march, partially in solidarity with us, and the people in St. Kitts are saying that they do not want that particular type of development on the island on the 26th, the last Friday in this month. I am looking forward to going down and being a part of that, because again, this is a fight for the lifeblood of St. Kitts and Nevis, not just Nevis, what their Mark and his wife and whoever are planning to do in Nevis. I believe Drew and Garth Wilkin and the others are planning something similar in St. Kitts. And so therefore we have to, as a people, one country, fight together.
Well, if the 26th is what day? What day is the week?
The last Friday.
The last Friday? Yeah. I would definitely try to make that. We need to spread this to the Federation. The Dr. Drew, and the Governor General then must not feel like they're off limits. We will be seeking to protest there. We have to continue the protest, because this bill cannot get legs, cannot be allowed to pass, to be gazetted. All right, and so I'm in full favor of that march on St. Kitts on the 26th. Hopefully, I have no conflicts and I can attend in full flesh. All right, okay. So I express thanks to everybody, all the organizers, of course, our General Party Secretary, Angelica Elliott, who did all the legwork to make sure all the permits were done. The sound system gentleman there who made sure he had all the music lined up. It was just a seamless fit.
And the sounds were
the sounds were important. One song we forgot to load was the newest song that we played last week Friday, Robin Hood in Blue. For some reason that slipped out. We're gonna play it at the end of the program today, like we did last week. All right. The poem by Muntu. Muntu had basically 24 hours to write that poem. Incredible. He basically had 24 hours. He didn't have it sitting down there. He produced that poem. Unfortunately, he could not deliver it because of conflicting interests. But he was able to. He was asked. He volunteered. He agreed, and within 24 hours, he had that poem.
Wow!
Fantastic work. All right, so
Talent of the highest
I'm
order.
telling you.
I keep telling him he needs to write a book of poetry.
All right. So let me say good afternoon to Erskine Nisbet, who just clocked on, and Paulette Hanley, I think it is, and Gillian France is with us, and I think Susie Warner, Kerry and Archibald. All right. Okay. Here we go. We gotta go. We got a lot to talk about today. And so, in response to our march, well, not our march, we didn't march. In response to our rally, the Premier had some words for us. Apparently, he didn't like what he saw. He could not comment on the numbers because the numbers were overwhelming. He could not comment on the veracity of the speeches. That he couldn't comment on. And so he said, I'm going to quote what he says, Tulu. NRP has some people who every time they speak or write, it's pure venom and hatred. Their leader cannot control them. A fundamental difference between them and us. NRP has some people who every time they speak or write, it's pure venom and hatred. You notice he didn't say pure lies or deception. Pure venom and hatred. Their leader cannot control them. Fundamental difference between them and us. No, let's get down to business here. Dr. Janice Hodge is not a dictator. And so we operate in a realm where honesty and truth prevail. She does not need to control us like you control your cabinet. We are all free to express our views, to do our research, to do our presentations. If you feel offended that these get under your skin, don't misconstrue it as hatred. We do not hate anybody. But you obviously feel that you're hated because when you look in the mirror, you hate yourself for the liar that you have become, and perhaps what you have always been, the deceiver that you are. And so when you look at us and see the opposite, you misconstrue that to be the same thing as you. We're not out there spreading hatred and venom. We speak with passion and belief. And so if you misconstrue that, or you want to gaslight that into venom and hatred, feel free. Because our audience, the people who are listening to us, the people who believe in us, know exactly what is happening. So no amount of spin about hatred and venom will change that dynamic. But let me go further. It proves to us what we've been asserting for a long time, that your cabinet ministers have been, how to put it gently,
subservient to him.
Deballed.
Use my terminology. That's too harsh.
Okay, so neutered.
Neutered. Your cabinet has been neutered, to use Danny's word.
Censured.
All right? So they cannot speak without your permission. That is why you do not bring them to your press conferences, because you are afraid they might slip and tell the truth.
No, but Kel, because cabinet has collective responsibility, them not speaking also means that whoever speaks on behalf of all of them. But just to share, if we were doing a press conference, we'll have a long meeting before and say, okay, Kel, you deal with that. Tulu, you deal with that. If you anticipate any questions on X, let the Premier deal with that, and so on and so on. There's something, but we go. We all go.
But even when you do go, nobody's being censured.
No.
You're there to make a presentation based on the facts, on the information on the ground, and you do it. Now, the issue I have also is that even in that statement is untrue, because he's saying the difference between us and them. Well, Who is it that referred to Kibu as dunce and stupid? Can't read. Was it me? Was it Carlisle? Was it Danny? Was it Tulu?
I don't refer to people that way.
Who is it that referred to your to your followers who mash your toe as ungrateful and greedy? It wasn't us. Who is it that cast dispersions about who thieving what and all this matter? It wasn't us. And so, take a look in the mirror, Mr. Premier. When you write these nonsense, it's really a reflection on you. All right? This is who you are. A coward, an autocrat, full of venom and hatred. Unable to stomach the truth that you are a failure, that you are incompetent, that you have run your last race and that race is ended in failure. You are in the departure lounge. Take the flight, I beg you, and save us any more grief. Take the flight. And after this disaster of this SSZ is finally put to bed, you will be put to bed by the people of Nevis. Finally, you need to get out before that happens. You and your cabinet of clowns need to resign. You have lost the trust of the Nevis people. You have betrayed us immensely with this SSZ legislation nonsense. You have been lying to us for years regarding this SSZ. It is time that you leave. It is time you go. All right?
The Premier's response to our gathering yesterday is another sign of the weakness of this individual, his narcissistic personality, his sadistic personality, his total disconnect from what is fair and just, truthful and honest. This is a guy who started a program in 2006 attacking every member of the NRP. This is a guy that makes it his personal vendetta to try to destroy Janice Daniel Hodge. This is a guy who cursed everybody who dared to say to him, I disagree with you. You are wrong. You should do better. And he is accusing us of presenting the truth to the people of Nevis in a passionate way to get them to understand. Us spewing venom
and hatred.
But you see, gentlemen, you have to be careful that people take away your the mantra and the things by which you are known, because when people see the advance, that is no surprise. I'll just give an example. When John Kerry was running against George Bush started to talk about war. He ducked the draft and never went, but Kerry was the man who went to war. Next thing you know, by Bush talking about the war, Bush won the election. And the real man who went to war lost. So what we have to be careful in the NRP is hold on to the things that separate us from them. And you can't be disappointed. You shouldn't be surprised. That is what... Nobody is disappointed or surprised. Exactly.
We just need to point out the fallacy in what the Premier is saying.
Right. Whatever the Premier accused NRP of is what he's guilty of. And so he wanted to reverse it. I heard a story of two ladies who were cursing one time, and one of them daughters, they said the two of them had Bigfoot. And one of their daughters shouted, "Mommy, tell us about she Bigfoot." The lady said, "Mind your Bigfoot self." The other one said, "Mind your Bigfoot self," and the cussing ended. This is way beyond that. Mark Brantley is famous for spewing hatred, encouraging discord and disruption. And to come now and accuse us of doing what he has done.
Let me say this.
It's a shame.
Let me say this. And let's end the conversation on this. A drowning man grabs at any straw.
Okay. Story done.
Good. Let's get on. Roger Ver.
Come out of jail?
No. He's still being incarcerated I think he's out on bail in Spain.
Oh, I thought he had come out and had taken up residence on the land.
No. All right. I want to spend a moment or two giving you some information. All right. I did a financial analysis of the lands he bought up there on Saddle Hill, the 80 acres. And you'll be surprised by the analysis. And what I was surprised by what I found. All right. Now, in 2021, Roger Ver, who is one of the architects of the Enclave on the southeast of Nevis, he's one of the architects, along with Olivia Jansen and Mr. Graham Brooks. Those are the three frontline people. All right. Now, Mr. Ver would have purchased 2 lots up there in Saddle Hill, one measuring 74.8 acres and the other one 6.4 acres. Now, for the 74.8 acres, he paid a total of $37,800 per acre.
What?
All right? EC. $37,800. For the 6.4 acres, he paid $40,500 per acre. Now, when you break that down into square foot, for the 74.8 acres, he paid, get this, 87 cents
per square foot.
87 cents per square foot. And for the 6.4 acres, he paid 91 cents per square foot. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Inland Revenue has in their possession a map of Nevis, and you can ask them to give you area by area the average standard price for those lands is available. That area in particular at Saddle Hill, the average price per square foot is $4 per square foot.
Yeah, right.
$4 per square foot. 300% less than what Roger Ver spent per square foot. He didn't even get charged $1 per square foot. Highest was 91 cents and the other was 87 cents per square foot. Why? How come? How come? Why was Roger Ver allowed to put forward an invoice that was received and accepted by Inland Revenue?
The same Inland Revenue that has an average costing of $4 a square foot.
The same one.
So this is collusion?
I don't know. Let me finish this. I can't say. I don't want anybody give me a lawyer letter. All right? I got a draft hole home. I got enough. I'm just giving you the facts. The facts are that before this purchase can be registered at the court, Inland Revenue have to agree that this is the price. This is correct. My only question about this, how come or why was Roger Ver, who would have, or his attorneys, I don't know who his attorneys were, was allowed a reduction of 300% based on Inland Revenue standards. 300%.
The state government are looking money.
So I'm wondering whether the Minister of Finance, who is the head of Inland Revenue, would have given a green light to his friend Roger Ver, so that the taxes paid on the property would not be a deterrent.
You have the loss to the country.
I have that.
Okay. Okay.
I have it.
Okay.
Now, had Inland Revenue applied
the $4
their own standard of $4 per square foot, the taxes paid on that property and collected by the Inland Revenue would have been $3.1 million. What we got instead? What do we get instead? We got $301,000. Instead of sorry, it was two pieces. So instead of 3.4, instead of 3.1 million, Inland Revenue collected only $301,000.
Pause. Give me 1 minute to pause there, Kerr. This is to let it sink into the minds of the Nevis people that here is somebody buying a large tract of land in the south of Nevis. The Inland Revenue valued this land at $4. The area is at $4 a square foot, and it is sold at $1, at less than $1 per square foot, resulting in the loss of more than 3
No,
million.
hold on. No, I made a mistake. I'm looking at two wrong numbers here. I want to be accurate. The value, if they had bought the land at standard price, which is $4, then the property would have been valued at $13.94 million versus the $3.1 million that they valued it for. So the 10% of $3.1 million would have gotten you $1.4 million. So the taxes, 10% due the stamp duty, would have been $1.4 million payable to Inland Revenue. What they actually collected was $301,000. That is correct.
Okay.
All right? So that is 300% lower than it should have been. And I need an explanation as to why.
And the public must demand that explanation. This is money, Kel, that is supposed to go to sort out education, sort out health, make sure services keep running. So you can't. This is one area. And I'm speaking as somebody in government sometimes who has been in the government, at the top of government, that there are days when you look at having salaries to pay and you have something on the board and you're saying, well, look, guys, let's just move with this quickly because this money goes to the treasury. We have to go buy medicine for the hospital and the health centers. We have a ton of things to do. So this idea that you give away virtually what, Kel? $3 million? Because if you only collect 301,000 and you should have had $1.3 million in the treasury, you are giving away the money.
Yeah.
And the people of Nevis must make some noise about that. They must insist that that is not good, and they must see that this is robbery. And thank us for shining the light on top of this. Now, my next point, Kel, is this. Isn't this legally? Isn't this legally wrong and should be challenged?
Legally wrong?
No, I have a question to ask, Daly.
Apart from the moral.
Yeah.
Legal, we need this money back.
The question, You have a piece of land to sell at Stony Grove. Inland Revenue says that lands in Stony Grove goes for $5 per square foot, for example. And because me and you are brothers, you said that you're going to sell me for $2 a square foot. Inland Revenue normally accept payment on $2 or they accept payment on the $5 that they value the lands at?
From what my understanding is, once you bring these documents, they pull out their little price map and apply what they believe should be the correct price. Yes. So they're not listening to you, you know.
So how VA got away with this?
That is what we need to find out.
Yes.
That is what we need to find out. Did the Premier of Nevis interfere in this process? He is the head of Inland Revenue. Did he have a hand in this reduction? Because this is severe. You're not talking about half. You're talking about 1/3 the value.
1/3 of the value.
Understand? Inland Revenue and the people of Nevis should have collected 1.4 million and collected 300% less. That is a steal of a deal.
And
that is a steal of a deal.
And that is who we are. Now, I think the people of Nevis, sometimes they don't pay attention to these matters. But when you go and you realize that you can't get certain services, these services have to be paid for. And it's a good thing, Kel, I think, for Inland Revenue to have its own marker. I mean, I'm sure there are little variations here and there.
Of course.
But generally, you can't circumvent the process. You have to follow. How is it, people, that the people of Nevis, as Eugene Tulu was just saying, you go, even though you want to help out your brother or your cousin, Inland Revenue say, look, this is the value here. So why did Inland Revenue not say that this is the value?
Well,
that is the $1 million question.
It is a troubling matter.
The Premier and Eric Evelyn in particular are often heard to say that Nevis has a cash flow. We don't have enough money. We cannot do this because we do not have money. But it seems as if that for everything that would have brought in some money into this country,
it leaks out.
Oh, no, in a leak out, Kelly didn't go in.
Well, it leaked somewhere.
It leaked somewhere, but it didn't go in the
here.
treasury. I mean, if you go, this is not even having every government in the Caribbean. You go and you put in a bill and you go to the treasury or you call and you say, hold on, Miss Brown, I'm working on something for you. Every treasurer has a stack of bills. Well, what them paid? And worse yet, a lot of small people do little services for the government and can't get them paid. And you have a rich billionaire, right?
And it goes back to something I said last week. We cannot continue with a policy or legislation, I'm not certain which is which, that has an open end to persons who are CBI citizens to simply subvert and purchase as much lands as they want without paying alien land holding licenses.
No.
There must be a cap. There must be a cap. Because then the people of Nevis gets nothing out of the deal except what the stamp duty is, which is 10%. You understand?
You can't buy so much land.
So this legislation, I repeat again, needs to be revisited, needs to be adjusted, it needs to be amended. Because we're now seeing an influx of people with endless cash, with the power to buy whatever they want, in whatever quantity they want, without paying the due taxes to the people of Nevis. And so I call again for this legislation to be revisited. It cannot be open season on the people of Nevis.
and what you just said there, Daily, those persons that are coming in like that and doing this, somehow they have a connection to the Premier or the Premier's family that they can come in and do. No wonder they went down to Bermuda and tell people, come Nevis. In Nevis, the Premier is saying to us that we don't have enough lands in Nevis, and the government cannot invest in lands in Nevis because there are no lands. But then what he is telling us that's in Nevis, he's going down to Bermuda and offering people to come and get lots of land, 10 acres and 15 acres. That shows to us, again, that the Premier is not interested in the welfare of the people of Nevis. Mm-hmm. He do not give Nevisians or Kittitians these type of concessions that these rascals with those criminal records come in our islands and get.
Yeah, but if you're a billionaire or a multimillionaire, what is the problem, Kellen, paying you $1.3 million? You want to get your hands on land in
one thing I can tell you about rich people.
They don't want to spend money.
They don't spend.
They don't spend. And perhaps, on the flip side, that is why they're rich. They avoid the taxes.
I don't think that's why they're rich.
I think
that's why the paps are crooked, most of them.
All right.
But, if you put this in context to the Drahi matter, Drahi has now moved his repository of art collection to Nevis.
$40 million art?
That was one shipment. That was one shipment. His repository here on Nevis now, I'm sure it contains hundreds of millions of dollars of art, which he pays nothing on. Zero.
But that's wrong.
Okay. All right, moving on. Let's move on.
What is bad? So, just one other question. Okay. So, here's a man gets away with paying, buying land way below the market value. Are we to understand that this is going to be the modus operandi forward?
I don't know.
Two people, persons with the connection, it is clear. We look at what happened with the Nisbet's deal, with the Drahi deal, with this deal, with the MSR man deal. Look at all of the deals, and you find that it's one track. The connection to the top and what they get away with. It will continue.
All right. That said,
I remember the shortest verse in the Bible, sir.
Well,
the Premier...
Divisions will weep.
Let's move on, gentlemen. The Premier owns 10 acres of land that appear to be in the zone designated by the Enclave proponents. Let me repeat that. The Premier owns 10 acres of land within the zone, appears, mind you, to be in the zone. I'm not what do you call him now?
Surveyor.
A surveyor. But what I've seen and what I've found at the land registry, his land appears to be within the zone. And we know the zone runs just back of the Mondo track, takes up Janet Grill Hall property at Long Point at the Budgeon Range, runs up to from Prospect, back of the Mondo track all the way up, cuts across the bottom of Brown Hill, and goes across Saddle Hill and over to Indian Castle. From what I've seen, it appears his 10 acres is in that block. My question to the Premier: have you sold it, sir? Are you holding on for a better price? Are you going to keep it for your children? What is the position on your 10-acre block?
Would you get a carve out? Would you get a carve out?
Would you get a carve out? That's a good question. Because they can go around him, so he has, his value, his property goes up in the sky.
Does he have any share?
I don't know all those things.
Those are.
But
I'm not asking you. We're just asking.
The thing is, he has never once mentioned
that he has
land inside the SSC,
or close to the area.
or close to, or bonded with. Never once. He talk about everybody else, but not his. Amazing. So we have two ministers with land in or just bound into the SSC. We know about the Premier now, and smack dead in the SSC is Spencer Brown with his 5 acres. That has been established a long time. His 5 acres is at Cox Heath, which is the dead epicenter of the land that they want to have their shiny city on a hill. All right. Now, so that makes 2 out of 5 sitting members, elected members in cabinet,
2/3 of the elected members
that have or may have conflicts regarding this SSZ. We have not heard from Spencer Brand yet. What is the status of his 5 acres? What is the status of his 120 million ECCBI funded or authorized project? We have not heard anything. He has not volunteered that information. You understand?
But
so we still don't know.
It is fair to assume that these ministers either they have shares buying into this enclave.
I'm not certainly selling shares, you know. I don't think it's that kind of development.
No, I'm not talking about the selling shares. Or that they are part of, in terms of not selling shares, a part of that enclave, or they would have already sold out their interest. The fact that other persons around who has lands are saying to them, I have 30 acres. I am willing to sell 10. And the buyers are saying, no, we don't want 10, we want all 30. And to everybody else, they want every square inch that they have. If indeed that these ministers has lands inside there, it's one of 2 things. It's either that they have sold every bit of it, or there are shareholders inside of it, so their portion remain as collateral inside the zone.
They don't. They don't want any locals within their zone.
So then they sold out.
They don't want any locals, and
not even a premier.
Not even a premier. The wrong color. Imagine that.
So I hope you understand that.
Have a share inside the enclave?
I don't know, cool. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on what he owns or what he doesn't own.
No, I didn't own. I talk about owns.
I don't
but
know.
I believe that he can get a
I don't
a
know.
stake inside there.
Let us not go down that kind of road there because it leads to nowhere. The facts are on the table. All right? He owns 10 acres. Based on the cadastral map I saw,
it
appears that that land is within the SSZ.
It appears.
Now, he has claimed on his radio show that he has no land in the SSZ. His family has no land in the SSZ. He came back and said, well, his wife said, yes, you have a brother and a sister who own some land somewhere over there. But he does not know where.
I was thinking of my wife and children.
Yeah. So
his lands are nothing.
Well, if you believe him.
Based on him.
If you believe him, I mean, if I was to start believing what the premier said at this point in my life,
your mother.
I'm gonna need more than prayer.
No, not prayer. Your mother would come up from the grave and put a licking on you.
So you're saying that the premier has developed a character that nothing that he says can be believed by anybody who is right thinking?
You've heard of the story, the boy that cried wolf.
Yes.
You're familiar with that story.
Mm-hmm.
He has been crying wolf for a long time. Nobody listening anymore. Understand? He's a Humpty Dumpty that fell off the wall and bust his head, and nobody cared to put him back together. He's done. And what you're seeing now is basically a crazy man trying to grab at straws in the ocean. And so you're going to fling bottles, you're going to fling sticks, you're going to fling all kind of things, hoping that something can save him. Right? But I come back to again that it appears he has 10 acres within the SSZ based on the map that I saw. Okay? And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Only one other thing, Kel. You think he might get Mr. V to buy that for $1 square foot? I just throw the ball. What my body say? I throw my can.
Do not bust daily head with
No, I throw the can. I didn't call it before.
The country need him, and so we can't afford for him to have headaches.
The only thing, and I think Tudo was alluding to it, if indeed that the premier has land abutting or within the SSZ, you can bet your last dollar that the terms and conditions that will apply to you and me will not apply to him.
Okay.
I can also bet my bottom dollar that the lands owned by Spencer Brand will not be subjected to the terms and conditions that you and I will be subjected to. You can bet the bottom dollar of that. Because right now the terms are, we'll give you 1% down. That 1% could either be given to you or in escrow. And the escrow, I'm told, is, the escrow agent, I'm told, is Daniel Brantley and Associates. All right? Now, this is where we at. All right? So, let's take this call.
Okay. Animal farm. Animal farm. Snowball. Animal farm.
Let's go. Good afternoon. You're on target.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to state something here. I heard you just said that the Premier did not mention that he had land in that area. I would like to tell you that the Premier said quite clearly that he does not have any land in that area.
Okay. Emphatic. Okay.
When he said that, I'm asking myself, is that why he willing to pawn off people's land over other people's land over there? Okay.
Interesting. Thank you for that.
No, Ken, before the caller, I was saying what you're talking about is the story of Animal Farm. Some animals are more equal than others. So if the price tag and the negotiations are going to be different for them.
Well, Carlin Lawrence has said, that's $1 million question, Mr. Daniel. He ain't selling for no 81 cents. Well, that is
that is my question.
Maybe $81.
He will not
Maybe $81, but not 81 cents.
And maybe dollars with dead presidents and then you know, the dollars with the dead presidents, right? Okay.
Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, sir. How about that?
I'm excellent, but you know something. I don't think this is something we should be worrying about, you know, because my understanding is for the SSE to happen, it has to be a consolidated block of land. In other words,
who said that? That's not true.
Just external boundaries, okay? As the cadastral plan you showed. So, if there are individuals within that block who have refused to sell, there's only one way that the block can be created, and that is by public acquisition. And our Premier has said that the NIA can acquire the land.
He didn't say can't, no. He said won't.
It can't happen.
He said he did not. He didn't say can't, no. He said they won't. They can't. They have the legislative power to do it.
Okay. Well, if they won't acquire the land, how is the project going to go ahead?
That's a good question that I can't answer you. But he did say also on the broadcast that he believes that the people do have sufficient land at the point to get an SSZ designation. When asked what was the quantum of lands the people had, he can't remember. He don't know. But he know they have enough.
He must be like me. I can't remember numbers.
But I would think something this critically important, where you are now saying you have met the threshold, but you don't know what the threshold is? You don't know ballpark figure how much they have?
Well, actually, no. He told us what the threshold is, you know.
What the threshold? 1 acre?
1 acre?
You see, that's the difference between him and us. We don't have to lie and deceive. We can simply come with the truth every single time.
True.
And it's understood. Thank you, caller. Thank you, caller.
What makes the Premier again unbelievable? Because I heard a clip of the Premier in his voice saying that those lands were out there for 100 years. The owners, some owners own so many acres, and they cannot develop the land. And what must the government do? We want to develop. When I heard him say that, I began to think that if he's saying that the owners of the lands cannot develop the lands, and that the government is going to bring development in the area, there's only one option, is to acquire the lands.
One other aspect of this is that I believe the lands the lands purchased by the Premier, I think they were purchased around 2018 or something. I can't remember exactly when. I have to go back to my notes. He hasn't planted anything on them.
But I think that land was supposed to plant a avocado vineyard.
This is for speculation.
Yeah, he was fenced, I understand. But that's as far as it went. There's nothing on there.
It was cleared and fenced.
Yeah. Maybe it's part of the value addition. Maybe he's trying to up the price by fencing it.
Listen,
No.
this guy is so cunningly crafty.
So moving on, there's some controversy, raging controversy, about who actually drafted the SSD legislation. Now you've heard Premier Brantley emphatically say
Had nothing to do with it.
that the bill, as it ought to have been done, was drafted by the Attorney General's chambers.
Yes.
All right, you heard him say that.
Yes.
Now, in an interview on Friday, I think the AG was on the show there,
Freedom.
Freedom, and he was asked by a gentleman caller from Montserrat, Mr. AG, the Premier said that it was your office who drafted the legislation.
Is it Friday before?
The Friday before.
Friday before.
Okay.
I was listening.
All right. So this is what the Attorney General had to say in response to that. I'm sorry I don't have the video because the video is so hilarious.
You want him laughing when he's speaking? Huh? He's like killing himself laughing.
The AG, having heard the question, took off his headset and started to cackle,
Yeah.
rolling with laughter. But listen to what he said.
AG, I want to ask you one quick question and then we gone. The law that passed in the parliament where a cause so much controversy in Nevis right now. You get me asked the Premier question and he said that he did not put in no input. It was just the AG office is the one that draft that bill. So me ask you now because this is a freedom. You get any input different to the AG office to draft the bill, yeah?
Let me explain what the bill does. I think
That's not what the man asked you. He asked if there was any input by the Premier.
No, there's been a lot of misinformation. Jamie, if you could give me 30 seconds.
Okay.
All the bill does is allows the Prime Minister to enter into development agreements for the creation of a special sustainability zone.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a zone proposed in Nevis, the Premier and the Nevis Island Administration must be a party to that development agreement. It does not create a zone.
Mm-hmm.
In order for a zone to be created with special rules in Section 6, it must go to Parliament as the development agreement itself.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody gets to see the terms, everybody gets to have the debate. I think this debate is a little premature because this bill is not controversial in any way. It could potentially be that a development agreement bill could be controversial, but we are putting the cat before the horse.
So was there any collaboration with the AG's office and the Premier? That's the question.
There was and the Premier? No.
Or from the Premier's office?
No.
Any contribution from Nevis?
Potentially.
Potentially?
Yes, because I'm not the drafter.
Okay.
You want me to bring my drafting team on board?
I am not the drafter.
These guys build this
But hear what the Premier had to say. The Premier said that the bill was created in the AG's office. A draft of the bill was sent to the legal department of the NIA for their input. Meaning, of course, that the bill was dealt with by the legal advisor and her team up there at the legal department. That bill then was sent back to St. Kitts, of course, for the reading. Now, the question was not a hard question to answer, but you heard the cynicism in the laugh of the AG, that the Premier would be saying that he had nothing to do with it. The legal advisor in Nevis, everybody knows, she's a sycophant of the Premier. She does not make a move without him. He doesn't make a move without her. So it's one and the same. Splitting hairs about it was not the Premier or the Premier's office. It's a joke. The legal department falls where?
Under the Premier.
Under the Premier. So they're acting on behalf of the Premier.
Sure.
You'll recall when that bill, the Integrity Public Life Bill, was drafted. Who drafted it? The same advisor. And what did she do? She deliberately dumbed down, took out every tooth from the bill to make sure the Premier could not be held to account for anything. The same person who said to us as a country that it is okay for the Premier to appoint a third person to the board, having already appointed the second and first through the age to the deputy governor's hand. So he has a stacked deck already there for her to put in that you no longer have to submit collaborating documents to authenticate what you submit. She put it in. All of these things she did to protect the Premier and to protect his cabinet from scrutiny from the IPL. And we are going to trust her judgment and say she is judicious, that she is fair. No, she has demonstrated total loyalty to the Premier. Not to the people of Nevis, to the Premier, and only to the Premier. She is 70 what? How old she is? 70-something years old. The oldest civil servant, public servant of Nevis. Why is she kept there? Because she does exactly what the Premier needs her to do. Without question. Without waver. This is why you cannot trust anything that they do. Now, who was the drafter? The AG said, you want me to bring my drafting team? He doesn't have to bring his drafting team because he knows that his drafting team didn't draft this. He knows that this bill did not originate from his drafting team at the AG's office. There are, well, the school children, the school children say,
and college children,
that this bill, this draft, was hand-delivered by Graham Brooks, the brains behind the Enclave. This bill was hand-delivered, crafted by him or by his team. That is the accusation.
By the school children.
By the school children. And the Attorney General needs to tell us if that is true or whether his team actually drafted it.
He will never do it.
And sent it over to the office of the legal advisor for their input. The way this bill was crafted is similar, almost identical to how the IPL bill was manipulated. The same blueprint, the same fingerprint to give all this power to the Premier and the Prime Minister. But let us focus on the Premier. Because what this bill has done is gutted all of the safety rails that will protect development or protect the people of Nevis from development that goes south or who break in regulations, who doing that. This bill has gutted the input of the physical planning department, taking them completely out of the equation, and give all the authorization power to the Premier. What does that sound like? Doesn't that sound like the IPL? Doesn't that sound like the IPL? Isn't this the same person who drafted the IPL and manipulated it to the point where the Premier is basically above the law? They cannot be investigated? Come on. We are not children here. School children are saying, Mr. AG, that bill was drafted by Graham Brooks. Is it true or not? That's the question I have for you. Let's take this call.
He will never answer you truthfully.
Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon, Mr. Daly.
Good afternoon.
And Tolo and Mr. Daniel.
Where was you yesterday, boy?
The whole thing is on Davis, no? That was craft from the AG to accommodate Mark and this one down here in Bastille, Dr. Terrence Joe. I hear him on Freedom yesterday. He said he must come Nevis. He must be believing he's the Prime Minister for the fisherman of the sea. Why look, sir? He believes he's the Prime Minister for Nigeria and when he
Algeria.
Addis Ababa, where he went?
Yeah, Ethiopia.
These worthless vagabonds are what the young people that been think is Nevis understand where they can, you know, see no? They're going to tell lies and can't go to this because people don't see where they're dealing there. There's a set of liars. Them liars, there's a set all of them. They're just about the same. They're studying the poor people. Talking about oh, it going to be a state within a state. I wonder who fooling who. If Sean come out this water and tell you in the bad, believe it, something definitely wrong. And they ain't gonna walk in think it's a Nevis. Because they know, you know, the writing is on the wall. I don't hear the cry. And the young people in Nevis must support Janice Daniel. Give her a chance. Give her a chance to get it out of this damn nonsense. Give the lady a chance. To shine her for the thing. Oh, she has sell land. Well, how much he don't sell? How much he don't sell? How much they don't sell? And the minister in the NIA who have land over there, he must come and tell the country if he land sell too. That is the big talk in Bastille. Have a good afternoon, Daily. Keep batting like Vin Richards when West Indies winning a game.
Thank you, sir. All right, one other thing. So, gentlemen, the Attorney General said that this bill is not controversial, but the development agreement might very well be.
So then, so you chart the course for controversy. This guy be
Let's take. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Yes, Professor. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
All right.
You know, this is getting curiouser and curiouser. Saying Alice in Wonderland.
Serious.
You know, it seems that even before any part of us lose our sovereignty, we've lost our sovereignty. What you say is correct. That they've been handed a bill to pass. That would be outrageous. That's hard to believe. That's hard to even
contemplate,
to think about. Okay, and you know what's strange about this bill? It's going to go down in history as one of the most unique ever in terms of it has no owner. It's like an orphan. Everybody throwing it around like some hot potato. So you have the premier sign is the AG department office. Okay, he is saying, well, he just have some part in it. Even the Prime Minister is getting into the act and saying, listen, I don't know why you all want to drag me into this thing over here. Because all I do, and even though he was the one who proposed the bill, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. But now it seems that he want to wash his hands of it in terms of terms of the meat of things. As long as you are paying the passport fees or citizenship fees, fine. You all do what you all want to do with your land. You made it seem as if it's unconstitutional for the Prime Minister to get involved. Okay? Because, as he put it, the Premier and the NIA, NIBIS generally, is supposed to manage its own resources. The federal government has no say in it. That's his logic.
Yeah.
But strangely enough, the same was not applied to geothermal, was it? You know? So it seems as if everybody just want to just have this thing like some hot potato and bounce it around, and nobody really wants to take ownership of it. You know, so I don't know where it's going in the end, to be quite honest.
Right.
Okay?
Thank
and
you.
if things go south, I don't know. Well, I guess if things go south, nobody gets the blame, right? Maybe that's the whole plan anyway.
No harm, no foul. All right, caller. Thanks much.
Okay.
Well, Kel, maybe with every, you say the school children, I have an idea of who drafted it. But when you look at it, you could well see what the school children see, because it's set up nicely to accommodate a particular kind of development and a particular kind of developer.
But two of the persons, I haven't heard them for myself, who debated and passed this bill, the Prime Minister and Mr. Soursop. I haven't heard, but I heard people said that Mr. Soursop has a program, and he introduced himself, and his program said, nobody asks here about anything about lands, because he not gonna land over in the south. Now I asked him nothing, but he passed that bill. Now we are hearing that the Prime Minister is saying that nobody mix him up basically with lands or Nevis. But still, he has the final say to sign off.
We're going to get there. I have
let
a section
me
there.
pause and wait on you, Dr. Daly.
All right. So the AG laughingly said that this bill is not controversial, but the development agreement might very well be. Now, I want to ask the AG something. In this bill, which I have here, this is a legal framework. You pass it, it's not being gazetted yet, but you pass it in federal parliament. And in this bill, it allows essentially for the establishment of a state within the state of St. Kitts and Nevis. This is what this bill is talking about. You're saying that this is not controversial. But you have in it that they can have their own laws,
customs.
They can have the what you call zone governance, zone bylaws, security and administration.
And arbitration is in the US.
Right? So I don't know how you said this is not controversial. I would like to see the agreement with Christophe Harbour or Kitchen Hill or Paul Southwell Industrial Site or any other development to see where zone governance is part of it. Because zone governance is part of this. And this is one of the sticking points people are saying.
But this is the part of the bad part of the problem.
So if you're saying this bill is not controversial, well, what is controversial? Are we going to wait until the agreement comes along, like he said? We can see all the T's crossed and I's dotted to know that it's controversial. This is the framework for the agreement. In part 2E. In part 2E says, financial damages or penalties for breach of development contract, different agreement, or any party on any party. But the part I really want to get to is that these people, as part of the deal, will be allowed the import and export of goods and other chattel into and out of the special zone.
Their own customs.
This is not controversial, that these people can simply move goods in and goods out. And this is not controversial?
This
is not a problem?
The fact that
So when we are struggling with issues about gun control and illegal substances control, you are saying this is not controversial? That you have no control, that you have surrendered control of your customs and regulations to this group?
Customs and security.
That you are giving them a seabed lease for up to 99 years, and that is not controversial? That they can build whatever under seabed lease, move in and out as they feel without our input, without our control, and that is not controversial? But Mr. AG, I would really like to know what you consider controversial.
But the fact that the Prime Minister, who I'm told was the mover of this bill, is now trying to disassociate himself from the bill because of the pushback in Nevis, says to anybody with any modicum of sense that there is something flawed or wrong or controversial inside this bill. Why he want to run away from it? Why he don't own it? It's his bill.
Good afternoon, you on target.
Mr. Daly,
yes.
I want to tell that young man God that these ain't Canfield time, see? These is the days when poor people, children could walk in a lot of school and learn anything in this world. These ain't the Canfield days where we know very good about in St. Nevis. People had advanced. These ain't these old people where you could shove your hand in the throat and give them all kind of bun up potato. Them days done with. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
Godfather still alive, Dr.
Of course.
Because
listen, Garth is don't hit Garth too hard. Garth is doing what he's told to do. Garth is representing the SKNLP. They always put him out there in front to take all the blows. He was the one who brought the pay increase.
Hello.
All the difficult issues that may cause problems for the electorate, he's the one who brings them out because nobody voted for him.
Hello.
You understand? And so he is the piñata, and he willingly accepts that position as the piñata.
I'm not hitting God.
Okay.
I am saying.
I'm not saying stop hitting me now.
If they could hit Dr. Daly, okay, who is not what they call a public official, government official, he's a government official. Nobody is off limit. All I'm saying that God Wilkin Father had a whole lot to say when anything happened in the Federation, in Parliament, that might have contravened the law, create a problem. Wilkin, Charles, was his name, right?
Yes.
Had a whole lot to say for correction. I haven't heard a utterance out of Charles since God is the Attorney General.
Why would he?
I mean, why would he? The same way you were offering correction all the time when the country goes wrong.
Come on, you expect the man to be publicly flogging his son?
Sure.
Why?
If his son ran you wrong,
No.
How come you publicly flog me at Hensley when me Hensley get a hand?
You're not my son.
No, I think I think one of the other things with the legislation, I think in some instances it's deliberately vague.
Of course.
And so it is allowing anything to happen. So what you have is a broad look. That is why.
Hold a second, Hensley. Right. Good afternoon, on target.
Good afternoon to each and everyone.
Good afternoon.
I guess the police active here.
Raise your voice.
We are having a hard time hearing you.
Hear me?
I can hear you a little better now. Just keep your voice up.
Yeah. That he ain't have nothing to do with Nolan up there.
Mm-hmm.
He's the premier. He said he have nothing to. The only thing he have was to do. Why he here is because of the border thing and what's not. That's why he here. But he have nothing to do with nothing in his son. Nobody put him in nothing.
Yeah.
You know. That's what he are. Law. That's what.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Hensley.
No, I was saying that the legislation, I've read it a few times, and I'm saying this is the broad picture. The specifics that people are asking in terms of, just as the questions you were raising, and of course the AG is saying that when you get a development agreement. But I believe the ideas are essentially what they want to do is to, of course, establish an enclave in Nevis with nobody else in there. But the thing is deliberately vague. You notice they start to move from, when people ask about the number of acres, you notice it says a minimum, but it doesn't say a maximum, right? You know? And so I think this is a way to get started. But the danger is that the public can be hooked in there.
But see, the point I think is a good point. Spencer Brand on his show on Tuesday, Gone, indicated while there is, he doesn't know what the minimum is. He doesn't know what the maximum is. So you can go to 10,000 acres and take up the entire part of Nevis. I mean, the point is, these things, once they start and you got that kind of money, right, you got billions of dollars at your disposal, you can corrupt any process.
Exactly.
You can control any process because, hey, let's face it, billionaires in this world, they have the upper hand against poor people. They can dominate a society, especially if they have the economic power to control if a country goes left or go right. All right? So Brantley said it in that interview he did with the Indian people recently, that he recognizes the danger or recognizes the fact that some of these investors have more worth than the entire GDP of islands like such as ours. Having said that, though, I really thought he would have been more judicious in making sure that the safety guardrails would have been in place, like physical planning and those things, so you don't end up with politicians making decisions that your technicians should be making.
But then when you want guardrails.
No, but just to say, Kel, that when you read what happened in Honduras, the woman was saying they started way over there. Well, next thing you know, they had prime property in the capital, and they took it because, again, the legislation was vague and allowed them.
And it doesn't say anything in the legislation that say it must be contiguous.
No, it doesn't say that.
It doesn't say that. So it could be anywhere.
So one morning they buy out Charlestown.
Okay then. Let's take this call. Good afternoon, you on target. Good afternoon, you on target.
Day.
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
Blessed day to you, Brother Daly, and blessed day to you, Brother Tulu, and blessed day to you, Brother Henry Daniel. And good day to your listeners via radio and internet. Just like to look at what you all outlining in your details, and find this here very disturbing to say, where is the educational really driving to imply our people awareness? And looking at this here, it's causing us to realize where are we standing when it comes to centralization of power. And I realize enough people who say they got educational degree and bachelors and all these masters are creating these problems to our people in the common state. And we are really seeing the torment that it will bring. Your statement where you said the age, you say, the bill is not IT virtual, but the development can be IT virtual. I mean, I say controversial because too much con artists in the damn place right now. And we're creating these things like it's all well and done because we're looking for political favor. I mean, in a political favor, you think our sovereign rights as people who living in these destinations. And we have to really be real in how we're standing on this crown of the destination and not trying to say, oh, we want a favor. We're not in a favor and we want to see justice prevail, whether you're non-part of political or you're part of your social development. It's time now people come awareness to the standard.
Right.
Where we will be when these things come along more further. Are we ready to stand up for rights? Or are we just ready to take $1 because of favoritism? We really need to put that question to all these politicians and these people who are creating the investment, where they get all the criminal activities from half of the backbone of our African heritage. And we don't fear to say that, because even in that area in the south part, because we call this a story of our ancestors who fought against the French during the time French invade and topple the old thief in Britannia. Those who say they're so historian, look at the vital standard, what you call the Morning Star. You all have a blessed day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So that is that.
Kel, just to say one point that the caller made, he made the point about mass education. What we are doing our part here. And if there was any intent to engage the public and to make sure the public is fully aware or to make the public part of the process, there would have been mass education. But that's not happening.
Okay. Now, the Prime Minister was out of the Federation for quite a while. He is back, and he had a round table yesterday, I believe. And he was asked basically to answer about the controversy with the SSZ on Nevis. And this is basically, I'm giving you a nutshell what he says, because his response was quite long.
So you don't have the soundbite?
No, I don't. All right, I want to read it into the record what he said in section. All right. So the Prime Minister said, the Constitution tells me to keep out, so I keep out of it. When the federal government comes in, it is to ensure that any project on Nevis does not violate national security laws, immigration, customs, and border security laws.
Well, if they have their own laws over there inside the enclave, that will violate the laws of the country.
I wonder if the Prime Minister thinks he's talking to children.
No, if they have a private enclave.
I understand you, Danny. I'm wondering whether the Prime Minister thinks he's talking to dummies.
He's insulting the integrity of Nevis people.
Because this document says to us something different.
Mm-hmm.
That these people will be allowed the import and export of goods and other chattel into and out of the special zone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he says here.
Have their own security.
Have their own security.
Their own arbitration.
All right? So I'm confused as to whether the Prime Minister understands the bill, having moved the bill. Has he really disaggregated and understood every tenet that the bill says? Because for him to say that his only interest is to ensure that any project on Nevis does not violate national security, immigration, and customs. Well, in hindsight, he might be right, Because if you give them the right, you're not violating it.
Oh, boy.
If you give them the right, you're not violating it. You've given it to them. So there's no, Mr. Prime Minister, I apologize.
No.
No, I'm serious. I apologize.
I don't.
Because you're absolutely correct. You have given them the right, so you cannot violate it. It doesn't mean you should have, but you did. And so I do apologize for the misconstrue that I entertained just now. And I do humbly apologize, sir.
You speak for yourself, right?
But the man is right, Tulu. Let's be judicious. Let's be honest. If I give you something, I no longer can control what you do with it. No. I mean, let us be fair.
What I gather, that the Prime Minister is saying, that his intervention is to make sure that the security of St. Kitts and Nevis is secured based on what is in our Constitution.
Yes, but if you have surrendered it, if you give it, how can you then come back and say, what do you want me to do?
Because essentially, Kel, isn't this zone, this whole concept is to give some rights and responsibilities.
Of course.
To give them to people on the basis that they remain a special entity in the country.
Of course. They have surrendered them rights. Those laws, they've surrendered them to these people.
Exactly. So you can't say you give me and then you don't give me.
It's like, you call it an Indian giver. You give me something, I take it back.
No.
Again, what the Prime Minister is saying, it makes no sense.
He's making perfect sense.
Making what sense?
He's saying exactly what the bill says.
But remember, our problem is...
Just say what the bill says.
Just say what the bill says.
Our problem is that we don't believe they should get it.
Exactly.
We don't believe they should get it. That is why we are writing, we are marching, we are protesting. We do not believe that they should be given the right to establish an exclusive community in Nevis.
But the Premier also said it.
Okay.
In questioning, he said, he was asked, why is it that the federal government was brought into this SSD argument? And he said quite clearly, we needed them to deal with the matters of immigration and customs.
So essentially, only them can give up.
Yes, only them
can give up the responsibility for immigration and customs.
Exactly.
So if you give it, all the essential problem we are having is that a bunch of people who don't look like us are going to establish a community on the south of Nevis with the right to bring in guns, weapons, anything, all of the chemical things that could harm us. They would be free to have immigration and customs way all over the world, Kel. Immigration is the biggest issue all over the world.
But this is what a SSD is.
Yeah, that is what
you
it
have.
is.
You are country unto yourself.
But not in there.
You have the right, or you have not obligation. You have the requirement or the need to have your own healthcare, education, security, border. You're like a country operating. So this is what they describe as a game changer.
Yeah,
this is why it's so different from everything else, because we have never had this sort of giveaway in terms of how we control and secure our borders, how we deal with our immigration, how we deal with our laws. Right. So they have mastered into this document the right for these people to exist as a country.
Exactly.
Let's take this call. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon, Dr. Daly.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm always amused when I hear talk about that. They needed the federal government to get to deal with customs.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell me something. Did Mr. Drahi pay customs duty on his artwork?
I wish he did.
Okay. Who gave him that concession?
The Premier.
Wait, is the Premier the head of the federal government?
But he is as a Premier entitled to grant concessions under his rights.
Okay, well then if you can grant concessions on customs duty, that means you don't need the federal government to do it.
Well, you got a point.
Technically.
Not technically, it's reality.
No, but you want to give these zones a bigger piece of the pie. You want to these zones will have nothing to do with the local government.
But the fact is, where the Attorney General has some correctness is the development agreement is what describes everything in detail.
Mm-hmm.
And to say that you needed federal government involvement to waive customs is wrong, because Nevis Island administration does that now and has done it in the past. And if they needed the federal, maybe all of those development agreements were illegal. And the federal government can now come and charge duty retroactively.
Well, I think if you leave out customs, and you have a good point about the customs part, and you include, now you go to national security, I mean police, army, coast guard, immigration.
That's the key.
Lord, if you're running a country, you really must understand what it is and what it isn't, what is included and what is not included. So the mere mention of customs suggests to me that people don't know what they're doing.
Mm. Okay.
Because customs the waiving of customs has been given by the NIA.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All right. You got one more call. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
Good afternoon, caller. Thanks for waiting.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Listen, when you get a chance, I want you to pull Mark's website and look into the case with he and Tony Cousy over Penny's Beach when he had two Mexicans staying there. Mark jail man took him to the cleaners, say he's a minister, and he have insight when people coming in. So that's inside knowledge. He said himself. So you know exactly what you're doing?
Okay. We'll look into it.
So, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Kel, I was saying before the callers that when you look at the specifics or the generality of the bill, I understand that school children say, who draft it. I want to believe what the school children say, who draft it.
Okay.
No, the Prime Minister trying to withdraw himself and pull himself out of this at this stage does not sit well with me. And it should not sit well with nobody in St. Kitts and Nevis. The Prime Minister presents a bill to us. It is in his name. He should have known everything that was inside that bill, all that is there before he comes. This reminds me again of going back to Antigua, because Gaston Brown did one in Antigua. And when Sopot began to tell Gaston about what is inside the bill, Gaston is telling Sopot not to argue, so. But Gaston, Sopot is saying, but Mr. Brown, Prime Minister Brown, your signature is here on the bill. And he's saying, so he has to go back again to read the bill that he signed off to give away a percentage of Antigua in this special zone. This is the very same thing Drew is trying to pull here.
What I find very distasteful, though, is the reference made by Dr. Drew that the SSZ on Nevis mirrors exactly the development at Paul Southwell Industrial Site.
No.
I find that very, very offensive.
But it's a lie.
Right? And he need to retract that because he's on record saying it. He's on record saying it. Why are you making noise in Nevis? The SSZ is practically on St. Kitts at the Paul Southwell Industrial Site.
Not in Targa, sir.
Well, we all know that. You know, I lived on St. Kitts for 3 years, so I know exactly where Paul Southwell borders are. I know what's in there. They're all Kittitian-owned businesses.
But they're not self-governed.
They're not self-governed. Okay. The police can go in if they have a cause to go in. They're subjected to the court system of St. Kitts and Nevis.
And if you want to go in, you could go in.
I can open a shop there. Okay. I can go do business there.
Sorry, I wanted to ask about the inside here that they are suggesting that if there is any dispute.
Yeah, there's a resolution body to do that.
And then they have access also to court in Miami.
Yeah. So
can you imagine?
Well, listen, the long and short is this. Dr. Drew does not want this thing hanging around his neck. He's squirming like a worm on a hook. But he should have seen the ramifications, because this is a bill intended solely to facilitate the establishment of an SSC on the southeast of Nevis. He had no or has no intention of having any SSC on St. Kitts.
No.
This was meant to facilitate Mark Brantley and the NIA over there in the southeast. Whatever promises that were made by Mark Brantley to these Enclave developers propelled this conversation to create this legislation. And Tula, again, I ask you, didn't you hear me predict that legislation will follow?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Way back. It will happen.
Okay. The legislation is now here. What they have not succeeded in doing, for whatever reason, they have not gazetted yet, so it's not law. Okay? I believe that they are now really, digging into these details to see what they signed off on and the ramifications of it. Because if they had even had a cursory look at the literature regarding Graham Brooks, Roger Ver, and Johnson. Olivier Johnson, they'll have seen the future. That this is where these guys are heading. This has nothing to do with no 3 hotel developments on the southeast. This is a housing community that is to be used for libertarians, for them to live the way they want to live. It has nothing to do with no establishment of no hotel development. Those were simply talking points, selling points. And easily, the Premier and the Deputy Premier and the Prime Minister should have been able to see through the BS and cut through the BS very easily.
The Premier knew.
Because it is clear that all these big promises of billions in investment and hundreds of thousands of jobs and millions in the treasury is all smoke. All fake promises to get their way. They should realize that. And so Dr. Drew still holds a responsibility for coming to the people in the National Parliament with this garbage bill. He cannot, Mr. Drew, let me address you directly. Prime Minister Dr. Honorable Terence Drew, this is your baby. You cannot walk away from it. It is around your neck like an albatross. And it's sinking you. And we warned you to stay clear of Mark Brantley, but you're not listening. We told you Mark Brantley will bring you down. And he almost did with MSR. He brought down Team Unity. What evidence more do you need to understand that this is a snake in the grass? How much time the man had to bite you upon your ankle to realize
a snake?
That a snake is a snake biting you?
I'm venomizing you.
Come on, man. These guys are jokers. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Yes, good afternoon. This is why you see it go about this. So many bad things about Harry.
You're breaking up.
We can't hear what you're saying.
You can hear me now?
Okay, yes, better.
Okay. The reason why this snake go around and saying so many bad things about Harry, because he know that he couldn't get these things to work under Harry. So that's the reason why he go around and say so many bad things about Harris. And the things and what he say about Harris, this is what catching up on top of him right now.
All right.
And the Prime Minister, they say birds of a feather, up together.
All right. Thank you for that. All right. Good afternoon, you're on target. Thanks for holding.
Hey, good afternoon, David.
Good afternoon,
Daniel and Tulu.
Good afternoon.
This whole conversation is just a sickening conversation. You know? I really don't understand how could anybody in their right mind entertain a conversation like this, that these people is trying to come to live on borderline of us. If they have so much million and billion or whatever money they have, tell them take it somewhere else. Go build an island out in the sea, find some place, build their own island. Why they want to come and take our island? We don't want them there. We don't want that type of development. We don't want those kind of people around us, because it's only going to lead to chaos. Okay? And one day we might have to defend ourselves against them. And just like you guys said, they have the money, so they're going to bring in their guns, they're going to bring in everything. Okay? One day they will get up and try to wipe us out. You understand? It's only a jackass and a fool will entertain any idea. Prime Minister, Premier, and all the set of idiots they have in those governments up there will entertain anything like this. Okay? That is not investment. That is segregation. That is apartheid. We don't need that. We don't want no kind of investment like that. No way, Nevis, no Sinkis. We are not fools. Why is only our government taking that? Why they don't go someplace else? Nobody's gonna accept them. Eh? They have all this money. Let them go build an island up in the sea. They take the sand, like what they did up in the east, and make island. Our island is not for sale. Okay? And we got to get real drastic, because we don't want nobody like these people living among us. Okay? Our island will turn into war. Okay? If those people come there. Because we shouldn't sit down, play dead, and let them come to our island to take over our island and destroy us. That can't happen.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay? So
right.
Whoever we got to move, we going to move them.
All right. I hear you loud and clear. Thanks, brother.
Yes, we have to make sure that history doesn't repeat itself. It happened in South Africa. They move in, and to the end, they took over the whole country. And it's the very same thing is going to happen here if Joe and Mark Brantley gets their way.
We got two more items before we go. So pardon us, we gonna be running a little bit late because I like to clear my book. Once I make notes, I like to clear them.
I'm going to teach later, but go ahead.
If you have to go, you go. You know, I don't want to disenfranchise your students.
No.
So
Student comes first.
Yeah. In 2017. Oh, we got another call coming in.
Yes, we have
traffic. Traffic.
Good afternoon. You're on target.
Yeah, good afternoon, fellas. So, right on the heels of that call right there.
Mm-hmm.
The Prime Minister, I'm calling up the Prime Minister today. He don't give one shit about Nevis people. The fact that this man ain't came to Nevis in 3 years in his capacity as Prime Minister and went and colluded with the Premier and put this bill through, ram it down our throats and passed this in the Federal House and now it's a law against the Nevis people. This is really appalling. Who should not entertain these developers is our own Premier in our own country. The government don't have no lands in that area over there on the southeast side, or they got lands in certain areas, yeah, but up in, I know, like Indian Castle, for instance, I don't know if there's someone extend up there, but the fact of the matter that these are private lands, that means the government, the local NIA government, will have to force the people's hands to get those lands away from those people. Mm-hmm. And this is what we're seeing right in front of our eyes. We are creating a segregated island. We are creating apartheid like in South Africa. We have to keep the pressure on and keep protesting. And thanks to you guys for putting on that rally yesterday. And the other one that's coming on Sinkis on the 26th. I really want to see the support down in Sinkis as well. Dr. You got to realize this is not a Nevis law. The man is talking about Nevis like this only pertains to Nevis alone. This pertains to the Federation of both islands. And Dr. Drew, man, this man don't care about Nevis people like that. He don't. The man ain't came Nevis in so long. The Sinkis and Nevis citizens have a chance to replace both governments on both islands. And if that's what we got to do, to wait until the next election comes to move them, then we do that and we change these laws back and repeal them. If they don't repeal this law immediately, that SSC law needs to be repealed ASAP. Nevis people stand up and make a stand for your children. I'll leave it there. Thanks.
All right. I think we stood up yesterday.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I think we stood up proudly yesterday.
Yes, we did.
All right. A lot of people thought we would have failed. And
well, they wanted.
Once you see the Premier silent, and then tell yourself that we succeeded in our objective. All right. So I was saying that the Premier has made a lot of noise recently about the Southeast Road. All right. Now, in 2017, as part of the NRP manifesto,
yes,
we put into the manifesto the idea of a coastal road running southeast along the coast, all the way from Long Point, clear over to New River. All right. Now, of course, we did not succeed in the election campaign, and the talk died down very quickly after we lost. In 2022, we saw that the Premier inserted it, the same idea, into the estimates, into the budget that was supposed coming out in 2023.
Sure.
All right, where $400,000 was allocated for a consultancy, a study, to see how much it will cost to design and build the road. Okay. Now, the proposal that we had, of course, as NRP, was to make it as enjoyable an experience as possible, make it scenic, so you have a tourism aspect to the road development. Right? You would have then the landowners who are all Nevisian by birth or ancestry, would will have an opportunity now to access their lands and develop their lands as they see fit.
True.
So you had possibilities for housing developments, for agriculture, for light industry, light manufacturing, tourism development, fishing,
public-private partnership.
Yeah. The power then would have been in the hands of divisions.
True.
The locus of decision.
All right? Mark Brandy took that away from the people of Nevis.
He doesn't think we should have it.
He took that away from the people of Nevis and gave it to Veer Johnson. Well, not Johnson. Johnson. Yeah, Johnson. And Veer.
And Veer and Brooks.
Let's take this call. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Dr. Daly and the team, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon,
Good
sir.
afternoon.
Dr. Daly, I have some, I need to confirm something with you.
Yes.
That it has been gazetted.
It has?
It has been gazetted.
Wow.
That I can be sure. It has been gazetted. So what will now happen is that if there is an SSC, then the proposed development agreement must now come to the federal parliament and the Nevis Island Assembly. Yeah. And this, of course, for full debate. So this still has some ways to go. And I'm sure the pressure, if we continue the pressure, then of course we know what can happen. But I can confirm that it has been gazetted.
Well, you just punched me in my stomach. You literally punched me in my stomach, because I thought that more intelligent minds would have accessed or succeeded in derailing this legislation before it was gazetted. And instead of withdrawing, they double down.
Yeah, hell bent.
To hell with us, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yes.
To double down, and I guess their argument is now then, technically, they're saying, well, there is no SSZ per se. So now what's going to happen is that they'll go to the parliament in both houses, both the Nevis Island Assembly and the federal parliament, with the proposal, and they'll have a full debate on the terms of the development arrangement in the two parliaments. But what was brought forth, that has been gazetted.
Thank you, caller.
All right, no problem.
All right. That is devastating news.
Hell bent.
That is devastating news. Having heard all that has been said, for them to be, so arrogant to gazette something like this, which has caused so much angst and stress among the population of St. Kitts and Nevis. This is criminal. This is really criminal. I am so disappointed. I really thought that we were on the right track to derail this legislation, only to find out now that it has been gazetted. So it's now the law of the land.
The pot has already been cooked.
All right. Well, we are going to have to gather our thoughts and see how best we deal with this going forward, because now the fight has now been elevated to a new level. All right, and I'm just beside myself. I can't actually believe the Attorney General and the Prime Minister and those persons would have agreed that this is something that we should be doing. But nonetheless, wherever there's a challenge, we have a solution. All right. Moving on, though, we were talking about the Southeast Coastal Road development, because many persons have been asking, well, NRP seems to be opposed to SSZ. What is your solution to the area? The area needs development. We all agree to that.
We put a proposal out there already.
And we are saying that had the road been put in, as promised, then those lands would have been accessible. Divisions would have been able to develop their lands or sell their lands for better prices. And the thing about it, though, is that all those landowners pay taxes every year. And the taxes are about to either double or even more on them. So that money is coming in from landowners. And by right, they should have access to their land because they're paying taxes on it. All right? It should be the obligation of the government or any government to make sure lands owned and being paid taxes on by the people are accessible. It's only fair. All right? And so that is that. Let's see, who is this now? Good afternoon, you're on target.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Daly and the crew.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Something wrong, you know. I could recall the 1st of December, 1975. We the people in the Federation went go vote.
Yes.
One of Richard's major intention was for us to buy our sugar land.
Control of the sugar lands.
And then it's we the people, we the government, along with the administration. Yeah. But then how is it now? Them now come when they sell we land without our consent.
I'm with you.
I heard Mr. Weeks mention about South Africa. And prolong it a little, going to a little more in depth with it. The Sharpsville massacre. You had a man named Stephen Biko.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was killed in chains. Is that we have to go back to? You know, the first to protect what is ours. Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. All right. Okay.
The thing there, Kelly, is that our suggestions from the Nevis Reformation Party would have allowed for the first time for the landowners to become part of a wider public company, and then you mentioned all the fishing and farming and so on. So how then do you run a country or you lead a country when you thwart all of that effort? So you have pushed your local people who are landowners, and landowners are supposed to be powerful people. So what you're doing now, you're transferring the land from the local
You're not transferring the land, you're transferring the power.
The power from the local people to these people in the enclave.
The whole mantra of the Nevis Reformation Party from the inception of the party was the empowerment of the people of Nevis through job creation, land ownership, education and training. That was the mantra. It is still the mantra of the party. The concerned citizens movement is against that mantra. Although the present premier is a benefactor of that mantra. Beneficiary. He got his education because of the policy of the party.
We're not going to prosecute.
So what you're just saying there now about the development, we have a classic example of recently in the Pinnies area. We know that the lands were solely owned by people, but they were just really blank. From the term Perry administration put in the infrastructure, look at the transformation of the area.
Okay, let's take this call here. Good afternoon, you on target.
Kel, good afternoon, guys. How are you all doing?
Fine, thanks.
Good afternoon. Happy birthday.
Let me ask a question. Once all these changes are made, because Mark spoke of it on Rebel's show a couple Tuesdays ago about removing the 750 and all that, and they're supposed to come back or assemble in the house and let the people know and then go forward?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily?
Not necessarily. The amendments can be made
after.
These are minor things, just adjusting up or down. I really want to see the final draft. There is a site that publishes these gazetted bills. You can go and print them off if you want, or you can go on Church Street by the office there and get them to give you a copy.
So now we see the reason for all these morning messages and all these posts this morning.
The haste.
This is like it's done. Jackass says, shut up.
Done deal.
I mean, hey.
Well,
I'm not gonna think.
Yeah. Calm yourself. The battle is not lost yet. We got a couple more cards in our pack. All right, caller. Thank you.
Okay.
That was a done deal before he went into Parliament.
Yes, it was. So
you're adding to all the potential killer of the development.
No, the premier in a broadcast said that they pulled the idea of financing the road because of the cost. He's saying 40 million for the road project. We've been asking all along whether the $400,000 that was put into the 2023 budget was used to do the consultation. We never got an answer. So how would the Premier know it cost 40 million?
Make up his figures.
You think you make them up or the money was spent?
Make them up.
You make them up?
Yeah.
Okay. Where is it, Danny? You think the money was spent?
I think the money was spent.
Okay. I tend to believe the money was spent. And
remember, it wasn't put in there with any serious intent, you know. It was put in there in a response to NRP and the noise.
Yeah, but I think spending the money was a way of getting the money out.
Of course.
All right. So they would have spent the money. They have if I can't figure out why else the Premier would call a number of 40 million, and without having sight of a report indicating such.
Made up.
All right. So I'm not going to argue whether it's made up or not, but we have the Premier on record saying it's 40 million.
And the money
So
is no longer there.
let me say this. On that matter, by stopping that project and saying you're going to allow the developers of the SSZ to do it, we have established already that the local landowners were the ones who will lose out. Those lands, at the Premier say, have been landlocked, basically cut off for 100 years. Back in the day when it was people traveling by donkeys and carts, it was all right because, hey, you just needed a track. Now people want modern conveniences. They want power, they want water, they want internet, cable, and all kind of things like that. But once you open the road, once you build the road, those things naturally follow. All right. Matter of fact, while you're constructing the road, you're also putting in your water supply, your power supply. All right. And so you are now in the process of building a new city, actually, a new development on our South Coast. This is what should have spurred the Premier to say, listen, boy, there's a lot more money in this, a lot less risk in this than what we are doing now. It makes more sense that if you look at any country in the world, it's not the big blue chip companies that support the communities. It's the small mom and pop shops because the numbers are overwhelming.
But that is when you care about your people. This development there has nothing to do with the people of Nevis.
I had said also, gentlemen, that think about it, think of all five, however many, suppose they get 500 acres of land together, all these number of owners. You could borrow at 10 times the value of that. You know how much money that puts at the disposal?
Well, even without that,
you know?
Here's my suggestion. If this road costs $40 million, the world is awash with grants. You just have to apply. Green Climate Fund.
Big time.
It's a big grant. The Jeff Fund. Once you're talking about sustainable agriculture, sustainable production, you're on board already. All right? You're looking at the fact that since 1983, we, the people of Nevis, has been treated less than in terms of the CBI receipts. They owe us. And they need to pay up.
So this was a good opportunity.
So this is a good way for the federal government to say, listen, in recognition of the fact that we have been defrauding you for all these years,
I don't believe so.
We are going to give you $40 million, which we will administer to develop the coastal road. And it seems to be fair.
Just a small amount of money.
Small.
Small money in relation to
because they saw what the
Southeast
Peninsula Road did for
tourism.
For tourism and things.
We can do the same thing in Nevis with local effort. There are several options.
Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon again.
Good afternoon, sir.
This thing has been around for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what upsets me is we've never heard what the economic impact, positive impact on Nevis is going to be. They must have numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's zero tax, then there's no tax revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So is it that they're going to cut off a whole section of the island and the only economic impact will be that of the wages to employees within that region?
Aye.
Why hasn't they, if this is such a great development, why hasn't the economic impact and the revenue to the government and to the people of Nevis been explained? Because if you're going to do a project, all of those projections are done almost before you put pen to paper with drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The two most important people in any development project is A, the accountant. Is it going to make money and who is going to make money from it?
Mm-hmm.
And B, the lawyer.
All right.
Is it legal? And everything else is just flowers. The two most important people in any development project is the accountant and the lawyer. And therefore, the first thing they will have done would be financial projections. So, how come we don't know what the positive impact on Nevis is going to be? Is it just going to be the additional wages? So we're just going to be employees? Or is there any other form of revenue coming from this project?
Good point. Thank you, caller. All right. Yeah. I see a comment here from Marvin that the bill was gazetted on August 21st. We are now September 13th. The AG was on radio, not say a word.
Mm-hmm.
The Premier was on the radio several times, not a word.
Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister was on the radio, not a word. We are here talking about repeal, and they've all been gazetted already. Done deal. And they sat there and said nothing. Nothing.
And now it's a done deal. The Prime Minister said, leave he out.
This is treachery.
Don't mix him up.
All they had to say to people, listen, the bill was passed on August 11th, and it was gazetted on August 21st. This is the height of disrespect
and
deception. Really, this is below whale shit. This is bad. Really bad.
Very bad.
Let's take this call. Good afternoon, you're on target.
Good afternoon, Daily.
Good
you
afternoon.
hear me?
Yes.
Listen, this was sustainable. All these projects, this is sustainable. When you say sustainable, what do you mean? Because you got guys done stop work, gone over 8 months and can't get the money. So you gonna bring in a project and the local can't get the money? What kind of policy they?
I don't know. Bad. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that.
Mm-hmm.
When the economy collapses, the building no suffer, the road them no suffer, is the people suffer.
Always.
We got to focus on the people. We just can't talk about the building them all the time. You got people suffering next to you and you just all you want to talk about the building, and roads.
Mm-hmm.
You got to focus on the people them too. You got man home suffering, done work, to stop mandatory and can't get the money.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Everybody see that? Everybody saying? All right, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, on target. Thanks for holding. Hello? Hello? I'm not hearing you at all.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, better.
Hard. I heard Prime Minister say that he's going to have a assembly.
You may have to hang up and call again because you're really breaking up badly.
You hear me now?
A little better. Try again.
I heard the Prime Minister said that they're supposed to have National Assembly the 22nd of this month here. So are you look out?
All right.
Yes, I think I heard him set up.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Then.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, I mean, this is bad. This is really, really bad. This is tragic. The level of deception and, deceit is just beyond the pale.
No, we know that is part of the hallmark of the premier, is to deceive and to destroy. I expected better of Dr. Jew. I really did. But he has proven to me that he is in the same low level, snakish level of the Premier of Nevis.
I mean, he was on radio Friday.
Trying to hide.
And all he had to say, ladies and gentlemen,
The bill has been gazetted.
the bill has been gazetted. That's all he had to say.
Well, how come none of the news outlet knew that it was gazetted and
Because
reported in the news?
it was asked of me on this, I think it was on Thursday evening, how long it takes to gazette a bill. And I said between 7 and 10 days. The bill was passed on the 11th and gazetted on the 21st. So I was in the ballpark.
Yeah.
But it is really upsetting to me that nobody said anything.
Nobody. No wonder the Attorney General was laughing all over his face when questions are posed.
And he was trying to downplay the seriousness of it by saying there's nothing controversial.
Yeah.
This is all leading to this level of deception, this chain of deception. Don't worry about nothing, because he knew the news of the Gazette will come out. My goodness, these guys can kill you, and you don't even feel that you've been stabbed to death.
According to Canon
Goodness gracious.
According to Canon Percival, they will kill you and come to your funeral and eulogize you. And this is exactly what they're doing. They have set this bill to kill the people of Nevis. And then they're coming out with the platitude to try to eulogize us.
Woo. Mervyn Hanley just sent me the bill. Yes, he's right. The bill has been gazetted on the 21st of August. What? I have to take some time to go through it. And so by Thursday evening on Tell Me, or Saturday next week, I should be able to share it with you. But I want to close by reading into the record a letter penned by Mr. James Gaskell, former owner of Montpelier Hotel. He's been living on Nevis, for as long as I've known myself. And so he penned this letter, and I need to read it to you because he's just a brilliant author. And he said, and it is entitled The Special Sustainability Zone. And he writes, and I quote, "I thought that I had retired and had written my last article for the newspaper, but there is such a stir about the SSZ that I would like to make a balanced contribution, so here it is. The Federation has a fragile economy. Our governments have talked about the need to diversify out of sugar, out of tourism, and out of the CBI program for decades. These mainstays of supports end, diminish, or stagnate. If we are hit by one of these new and major hurricanes, we could suffer damage difficult to recover from. The U.S. is turning in on itself and is less able and less likely to engage in overseas repair work. To be safe and have the funds to keep our food, water, and electricity supplies running, we do need a strong need a stronger economy. This means bringing investment from outside if we cannot invest in whatever is necessary through local capital. Or it requires novel ideas, but these also must be funded. Over the past 15 years, we have failed to fund our geothermal energy. I personally think solar would be better, but Nevis has done neither. Understanding this, one can see that a Nevis government might jump at the chance of an outside investor putting many millions into the south of Nevis. It is when you hear what might be proposed that you need to question what exactly that is and how it has come about. Premier Brantley tells us that a foreigner with St. Kitts and Nevis citizenship is establishing an area in the south of Nevis, some 2,000 acres or approximately 3.125 miles, in respect of which he has sought a development agreement under the SSZ Act. At a town hall not so long ago, he was repeatedly questioned by Carleen Lawrence and asked what was happening about this. At one point, he replied, "There are no formal proposals before my government." If he had any proposal discussions with the intending developer, this would have been a dodge. Since then, he has said that a group of some 70 persons, led by one Olivier Janssens, has plans for development of the southern part of Nevis, and that there will be many villas and 3 hotels and permanent employment for thousands of our people, which he hopes will encourage citizens abroad to return. In overall size, it will be equivalent to 3-4 seasons. There is no evidence to support the promise of 3 luxury hotels. There are just words that we have heard before. What lies behind the Premier's confidence in this statement? He's asking what lies behind the Premier's confidence in the statement. What have we not been kept abreast of in these important matters? Here it is that we have to ask what is that should be here it is. We have to ask what is that should persuade an outside investor who can take his money anywhere in the world, and what it is that he has made 2,000 acres of a relatively barren section of Nevis with a rocky, rough shoreline so supremely commercially attractive that he will risk many millions, hundreds of millions on it. When Four Seasons came to Nevis, they negotiated tax and other concessions with Sim Daniels' government. They were a known quantity, a hotel group of top international repute. We were fortunate to get them. We do not yet know anything about this set of new investors. If Mr. Roger Ver is one of them, and the land purchased in 2021 is part of the 2,000 acres, then plans have been in train for at least 4 years. Now it is inconceivable that outside investors intending to lock up hundreds of millions in the small island would not have had discussions with and demand a great deal from our government. They would have required a written contract specifying the agreed concessions, exemptions, etc. Why would they commit themselves without it? These investors are unlike others. Janssens and Ver founded a free society to promote libertarian values. There is little to be found on this except for a press release and some interviews in September 2017. These two want to create an entirely new country. There will be no government in this country. It will be built on the principles of anarcho-capitalism. Disputes are to be resolved by arbitration, and law enforcement can be purchased on the free market. How can it work? No one knows. In an interview on September 25, 2017, Ver said that he was then negotiating with different countries to purchase sovereign land, hoping that fellow libertarians would follow, beginning populating the land, and that he expected to raise 500 million and maybe 1 billion. Governments love money, so we will have to negotiate the final details, Ver said. He added, when we auction off the land, we think that there will be many companies that will want to develop the land into big buildings. Instead of laws, there will be guidelines similar to that of condominiums. The idea is to purchase land from government that will allow sovereign behavior. When you read the SSC Act, you can see that it could be very well have been drafted for this libertarian group. The Federation retains the power for defense and foreign affairs, citizenship, election matters, and the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. This leaves everything else to be part of the governance of the SSC by those who have made the development agreement. Normal commercial investors want reduced taxes and concessions. They just would not think of asking for the right to have their own laws. Essentially, the SSC does not oblige the developer to do very much, and the demands for an economic analysis and infrastructure plans will be rendered solely to the Nevis Island Cabinet and to the Prime Minister, and do not have to be made public. Probably a team from Janssens and Ver played a major part in the drafting. Mr. Brantley refers to this as a potential game changer. There are so few details that we cannot know if we want the game to change or not. But the scheme is novel and potentially of such scope that surely the people should be asked if they want it. The present system seems to be that decisions of this nature are left to the cabinet of 3 or 4, where one may be casting vote in secrecy. My guess is that the NIA contracted with these investors. If they bought the land they wanted, then the NIA would subject to satisfactory economic analysis, etc. It continues, the Premier should be transparent about this project. What evidence has been presented to assure him that the Nevis revenue stands to gain hundreds of millions of dollars, and these 3 luxury hotels and their commercial enthusiasm for Nevis actually exist? Has any party put down a bond in favor of the NIA? Is he content about the absence of control by the NIA and its agencies over what happens in the zone? Was any due diligence report on Janssens and his group and his Nevis project ever presented to the NIA? That reveal in that Roger Ver, who has been indicted for tax fraud in the US, is currently contesting extradition from Spain. We have to know these things and be provided with full supporting evidence. A decent democracy is supposed to work openly, and that way be given up an opportunity to exercise his voice meaningfully, especially in affairs described as a game changer. James Gaskell. A bit long, but I'll tell you something very, very important. I think he knocked all the balls, and so thank you, Mr. Gaskell, for this timely presentation. Tulu, you listened to it all? You took it in?
I have listened, paid attention. It is good that we have other persons out in the community who are like-minded and are willing to share the expertise and show people what danger lies ahead of us if this development goes through. But my final word is simple: this development was crafted and designed to suit for the benefit of the Brantley family. That is my conviction. The way that Mrs. Brantley went after people, and they are still going after people to get their property, the deception that is spewed by the Premier, her husband, and all the run-ins that are there, says to me, they stand to be the greatest beneficiaries of this particular development.
All right. Folks, it's now 20 minutes before the hour 4 o'clock. We have to go. We have kept it long enough. I do thank all who stayed the course, and I do apologize on behalf of the Prime Minister and the Premier for the deception that we've been facing from this government. I feel it's an obligation to do so, since they have no balls enough to do it. I'm doing it for them. You all have a blessed rest of the afternoon. I'm going to go home and now dissect this final draft of the gazetted SSZ legislation. Good afternoon. God bless. We talk to you again next week. Bye.